Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over enemy numbers in numerology. So a lot of people have an idea of like what numbers get along, what numbers don't, what have you. So I'm going to give you guys a lot of clearance today, just to clarify exactly what enemy numbers are and why they're enemies. So certain numbers, according to the Chaldean tablets, are enemies just simply because of their governors, meaning their planets, and then the overall lord of that said planet pretty much has beef with the other lord. So when we look at this from our perspective, how it's useful to us is that we have to understand who's going to be our enemy and why, or who's going to be complementary to us and why. I'm going to go over enemies today. I'm going to do another video on friends. It's going to be very different, but I'm going to do the enemy one today. So the first thing you should know is that you shouldn't really be looking at somebody that has, let's say they have a birth number that's compatible with you. That's great, but then their life path number is not. You have to make sure that both, to have a perfect relation, your birth numbers should be compatible, and then your life path numbers should be compatible. This will work very well with business. This will work very well with marriage. This will work very well with friendships overall, so social networking as a whole. So let's start off with this today. So enemy numbers, let's start off with number 1. The number 1 is for people born the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th. This also can go for life path 1. Your enemy is number 8. So you guys have a very big enemy in the sense of life path 1 is the sun, and then, or just anything with number 1, not just life path. If your birth number is number 1, you're number 1. And this doesn't count for expression numbers, soul, personality. Don't ask me that stuff, guys. I'm only talking about personality and life path. So if you have a number 1 in the birth number or life path position, understand that 8s will be your enemy. So if you're a birth number 1, then birth number 8 people will be your enemy. If you're a life path 1, then life path 8 people will be your enemy. And it doesn't count if you're a life path 1, but then you see somebody with a birth number 8, they can have a life path that gets along with you, and that energy can still intermingle. You guys could be fine. So understand that your direct numbers should be enemies in the said position within your chart. So 1 and 8 are enemies because 1 is Surya, the sun, whereas number 8 is Shani, Lord over darkness. So it's just light versus dark, right? So when you understand that, these are 2 people that will be very much in competition to be in command. They do make good teams. I've noticed 1s and 8s actually do quite well together because they're complementary. They both have a very good work ethic, but it also depends on environmental factors, cultural upbringing, what have you, right? This is just a generalization. This is what it's said in the Chaldean tablets. Number 1 and 8 are distinct enemies. This has been like that from day 1. The next one would be 2, and 2 has a couple of enemies actually. 2 has the enemy of the number 4 for 1, and then also the number 9. So let's get into this. If you're born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th, or if you're a life path 2 or 11, your enemy specifically is going to be the number 4. So the reason behind this is there's a story in the folktale with Hinduism when it comes to Rahu and Ketu, where they ate a forbidden fruit. Well, I shouldn't even say they, because there was only one snake at the time. It was a gigantic snake, and it ate the forbidden fruit. It made itself like the lords were, the other lords in the universe, and became immortal. As a punishment, they cut the snake in half. The head of the snake is what we call Maya, Rahu. So that is the illusion of materialism, material pleasure, and that's seen through the number 4 people. Number 4 people like to get safety from material success, or at least just having a good job or doing what their peers are telling them to do. When 4s go against that, they become the black sheep, but that's also they become successful. Another topic altogether. So number 2 and 4 are enemies simply because number 2 is the moon, and then number 4 is Rahu, and they consider Rahu as the eclipse of the moon. So it eats the moon. So number 2 people, if you're a number 2 and you're around somebody who has 4 energy, they're going to eat you alive. You want to make sure you're very, very careful, because they actually could definitely take advantage of you, and they're most likely going to win. If you're a number 4 person, you're watching this, you're around number 2 people, please don't be predatorial. But like I said, I give out this knowledge like an arms dealer. Do what you will with it. It's like giving out a gun to somebody. They can use it to protect their family, or they can use it to do horrendous things. So if you're a number 4 person and you're in business with number 2, you probably will end up being in command, or you can manipulate them to be in command. It's just as simple as that. The numbers 3 and 6 are enemies as well. So people will be like, wait, what? Isn't that the heavenly triad, blah, blah? They are, but there's still an enemy there. So number 3 and 6 are enemies simply because number 3 is represented by Jupiter, which is the god of wisdom, the devas, it's godliness, expansion. And then Venus is the god of demons, which is like materialism, sensuality. So because of that opposition, they're both very artistically gifted. They both become enormously wealthy, but they have different ways of getting to it. And it's very, very important to know that, because number 3 and 6 people, they'll think that, oh, we have the same interest. But when you actually try to build with somebody who's a 3, if you're a 6, or if you're a 3 and you're trying to build with a 6 person, you'll find that there's a lot of tension there, and it causes a lot of disruptions with your life. So even though you guys might have the same interests, your energies will clash and screw it over anyways. I missed one as well. So with the number 2, I want to go back to that. The number 2 and the number 9 are also enemies, and people don't realize that, because number 2 is the moon, number 9 is Mars. If you look at astrology, Mars and moon are always enemies. The Chaldeans already knew that. Number 2 and 9 are distinct enemies for sure. 9 is very aggressive and instinctual. Number 2 is all about emotional diplomacy. So with number 4 and number 9, they're not going to get along with that whatsoever. Number 5 has no enemies, which is very important for people to know. Number 5 people are get along with everybody. So if you're a life path 5 or birth number 5, you'll mostly get along with everybody. If you have double energy, meaning you're a birth number and life path 5, you have no enemies, no bad luck days, nothing. You have extremely good luck and you're able to get a lot done. But if you only have one of those positions as the number 5, that's where you just don't have to worry. So if you're a life path 5, you don't have to worry about somebody's life path. More so just look at their birth number to figure out if they're compatible with you. The next one is the number 7. Number 7 is also an op, has beef with number 9. 7 is all about spirituality, just being esoteric, very much metaphysical. And then the number 9 is all about ideologies, right? So when you look at that, you start realizing that, okay, the number 9 might be a little bit more grounded, whereas the number 7 will rely on faith. Because of that, they usually don't get along. So if you're born on like the 7th, 16th, 25th, you shouldn't be around people that are born on the 9th, 18th, 27th, as they'll give you bad luck. Quite literally, they'll actually screw over your luck. So you want to be very, very careful with that. And the same thing goes for the number 9 people. The 7s will actually give you bad luck. And just remember, like I said at the beginning of the video, look at your life path number, make sure you get along with that person's life path. Look at your birth number, make sure you get along with that person's birth number. It's as simple as that. One of them that I missed though, with the number 7, it does have another enemy. A lot of people wouldn't figure this one out, and it's never talked about, is the number 1. The reason the number 7 and 1 are enemies is because the number 7 is the eclipse of the sun. The sun always represents, when we look at astrology, the ego. The number 7 is all about non-ego. Remember I discussed that snake getting cut in half earlier. We discussed the number 4 being Rahu. The tail of that is number 7, which is Ketu. And that's the south node of the moon, and it actually eclipses the sun. So when 7 people are around 1 energy people, they actually drain their energy, or they try to bring them down. So like the number 7 person will tell the number 1, don't be so boastful, don't be so egotistical. And the number 1 person will find that very, very offensive. And as such, they end up just clashing heads. So it doesn't work very well. So that is the full synopsis of, like, I guess what the beef is with these guys. Now you guys understand what the enemy numbers are. I'm going to get to friendly numbers probably tomorrow in a full-length video. Just so you guys have that information at your disposal, so you know who's compatible, who's not, why is certain things not working out for me. Because you can just have a lot of the wrong numbers even around you in your household, and that can give you bad luck. So you need to use this knowledge of like who my enemy numbers are to figure out what am I around, and then how can I improve that. So my next video, which will be a part 2 this tomorrow, is going to show you how to forge alliances with the right sets of people. All right, guys, this is a bit of a shorter video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions, send me a DM, Shem's Universe 8.0, or just send me a comment down below and I'll answer it for you. Peace.